In this video, I'm going to review a short clip of Tovia Singer, and let's hear what he was saying, and then I'm going to say a few words about it.
Introductory chapter, Luke was interested in portraying Zacharias and Elizabeth, the cousins of Mary, to be perfect. To be that Jesus and John the Baptist were cousins and emerging out of the most impeccable family. And Luke chapter 1 verse 6 says that Zacharias and Elizabeth just never sinned. They kept all the commandments perfectly. And Luke did not care whoever wrote Luke did not care for a moment of what consequences that statement would have for Pauline theology that no one can keep a law. Okay, I don't want to go off the rails on this, but this is all.
It is not written that Zachariah and Elizabeth were sinless, as Tovia says, but it is clearly written that they were righteous before God, but in this verse, it wasn't explained what was the reason they were righteous before God. It is only written that they, as people who are righteous before God, did certain things blamelessly. And they were both righteous before God, walking in all the commandments and ordinances of the Lord blameless. Luke chapter 1 verse 6. So this doesn't disprove justification by faith only in regards to eternity, and thus doesn't contradict Paul's theology. This only proves that they were obedient as already believing people and thus already justified people. They had a good walk, they served well. No one can be righteous before God in regards to eternity by just doing something. Okay, we may say that people can be righteous in some kind of way, but not in regards to eternal life. But it's okay that we say that they can be righteous in their walk, in their service, for example. But now I want to return on what I was saying before that. If it's said that some people are just before God, that means that they are sinners who got justified before God because they believed God, just as Abraham did, as Romans chapter 4 verse 1 through 5 clearly states. Instead of that, Tovia Singer says that Luke wrote that Zachariah and Elizabeth were sinless, which is obviously wrong because Luke didn't wrote those words. The word sinless is obviously a different word with a different meaning than the word righteous. Okay, we can correlate these words in certain way for certain purposes, but I don't want to get into that right now. People can become righteous before God by faith, but that doesn't mean they are sinless in regards to their flesh. So Luke wrote they were righteous before God and that they were obedient to commandments, which means that when they did sin, they repented and did certain things which are according to commandments, and thus they continued walking with the Lord. So Luke says they were blameless in that sense. And this is really important. Paul also said he was blameless in his obedience to the law, and yet he claimed he did sin. And we know he's saying in Romans 3 that everybody sinned. So it's obvious it's not a contradiction. Concerning zeal, persecuting the church, touching the righteousness which is in the law, blameless. Philippians 3 verse 6. And it's not a contradiction because Zachariah and Elizabeth and Paul were blameless according to the righteousness which is in the law. But the righteousness which is in the law cannot give God's righteousness to people and cannot give them eternal salvation. And that's the whole point. Knowing that a man is not justified by the works of the law, but by the faith of Jesus Christ. Even we have believed in Jesus Christ, that we might be justified by the faith of Christ, and not by the works of the law. For by the works of the law shall no flesh be justified. Galatians 2, verse 16. But that no man is justified by the law in the sight of God, it is evident. For the just shall live by faith. Galatians 3, verse 11. But I need to say that believing people can only be seen as righteous in the sight of men, and that would depend on their walk. And this is what we call a good testimony of certain believer. And we can also say that this is showing us that those kind of people have a good relationship with the Lord in regards to their walk. Doing service to God does not give you an eternal life. It gives you a good testimony and it makes you righteous in the sight of men, which is good in order for them to believe God when they see how you in your life glorifying God. Okay, that's it for this video. Thanks for listening. If you like it, you can subscribe, like and share. Bye.